That kind of a day. And these are actually mine. So I have had the door panels off on my car once before, and that's when I replaced the door latches because the Titan is known to like peel and flake. So mine are new and don't look like that. But when I did that, I kind of noted that, you know, the vinyl caps at the end come loose from this particle board backing right up in this corner. And it wasn't that bad. I just put it back on. I didn't want to deal with it. Well, fast forward, 5 years now or more, and just the whole car kind of seems to rattle inside, and there's all this vinyl-y noise in the back. Sure, some of it's from the folding seats and some of it's from the rear parcel shelf, but I think a whole lot of it is coming from these door cards. So popped them off. Vapor barrier's nice and clean, had never been removed before. Most of the butyl tape was still attaching them, but I did replace the vapor barriers and totally clean the doors down to the sheet. I mean, it looks perfect. It looks like the doors never had vapor barriers on it or butyl tape on it. Vacuumed out the inside of the door, tightened the bolts on the window regulator, you know, the usual stuff. But I can't believe how bad these panels were. So up here, this black strip that runs above the, you know, the trim, the Titan trim, was completely detached. The only thing holding it on is the speaker cover grill. So I completely stripped all the old glue with a razor blade off of that. Takes forever. Glued them back on. Looks like this. I use wood up on top so we don't put little imprints in the vinyl, and a whole bunch of clamps every couple of inches. And then one over here to keep everything nice and tight. And then tomorrow I'll clean off the bubbled glue because I always seem to use a little bit too much. The mat pocket over here is super nice and tight. Like I would do more damage trying to remove it to re-glue it than I would just leaving it alone. So I'm gonna leave that one alone. This one was pretty loose. I was able to pop it off and scraped all the glue off that. It's gluing now. I use calipers and wheel bearings as weights. Don't worry, there's towel and bubble wrap down there. And then I'm replacing the standard E39 door panel clips, which are these white plastic ones. I'm going to replace those with the E38 ones, which are slightly green. They're mint colored. More importantly, they add this little rubber gasket. So hopefully that'll be a little quieter and fit nice and snug and just kind of shut things up in the back. Then every time you open the door, it would kind of pull this vinyl out. So doing it once, doing it right. The only thing, you know, I kept thinking like, well, if I'm going to open the door, I should replace the door lock actuators. Well, if I'm going to do that, I should replace the window regulators. And pretty soon, is it worth like $4,000 to make the rear seat quieter? No, absolutely not. So I'm not going to do that. I would like to figure out why this is squeaking though. Maybe I just need to sit here for 10 minutes and do that. Fixed, 500 bucks. I can't really open this door because there's wheels in the way. So let's try this door. Yeah, we'll get a nice swing on this one. New vapor barriers are gray. The original ones were black. This car has the airbags. You can tell because it's got this big warning sticker, and then it has the side airbags not operational sticker down below there from the factory or the first dealer that sold the car. And in fact, the airbags are not even plugged in. This is the wiring here for them. They've never been plugged in. The factory tape had all dried out, so I tried a couple different tapes I have, and electrical tape seems to hold the best. It looks a little ratty, but it'll hold the wires nice and snug so they don't rattle inside the door. Otherwise, you can see fresh butyl tape back there, nice new vapor barrier, airbags in, red thread, a touch of thread locker on those 10 mils, nice clean Titan handle. I have the puddle light wire just there so I don't close it in the door, but all of this was dusty and stuff. Look at that now. I mean, that looks like a new door. That was the whole afternoon to get everything cleaned up nicely, but I am satisfied with that. And tomorrow, when the panels are dry and I have more clips, I ran out. I only got 6 in stock, so I ordered another 30, and I'll replace all of those. Then we'll see if the rear compartment is quieter. Assuming it is, I will move on and do the same thing to the front doors. And I might do the BAV sound in the front doors. I don't think the BAV sound replaces these rear tweeters. BMW tweeters are usually pretty good. They usually replace the mids. What do? They don't do the rear deck speakers. They probably do the rear shelf speakers. I'll have to look into that, see if that makes sense, these guys back here. I know they do the ones in the front door, so if I'm gonna do the BAV sound, that would be the time to do that with the panels off. The door panel removal on an E39 is really easy, especially a rear one without sunshades. It's literally one screw and all those clips, and then your electrical connector for your light, which I replaced a few months ago just because they seem to be getting harder to get. I just bought 4 new ones, so the plastic's nice and soft. Soft as in malleable, not brittle. Usually those things totally fall apart. Satisfying work. In other news today, we got the rear control arms in the 2010 M5, The guide links and the toe arms, or the toe arms and the wishbones are in there. We need 2 more nuts that should be coming in tomorrow to finish that up. We'll torque it on the ground. Also see a dining bar. I don't know if I had mentioned that before. I kind of put the interior back together. It's got a center console, glove box, driver's pedal ceiling, all of that's reinstalled, light modules installed, just a whole lot of reassembly. And then on the Canadian car, what are we waiting on? Those 2 bumper brackets. He approved the tie rods. The tie rods are here. They will go on tomorrow. And then we'll get the rest of the alignment done. That reminds me, I got to send him pictures of, I don't know why they went back to pre-facelift caps on the 06 E60s. I think they do stuff just to make the new models look good because what, 02, 03, they put the nice caps on here, didn't they? And then on the E60, they went back. So that's what it could and should look like. Much, much better. So I'm sure I'm forgetting a whole bunch of stuff. I'm not going to worry about it. I'm going to get out of here soon and enjoy the first day of summer, the longest day of the year, the best day of the year today. We will have the latest sunset at like 8:05. It's not that late here. Meanwhile, Ohio tonight will be like 9:30. I do miss those ultra long days in the Midwest. But it is 6:30 now and we got a few inches. Driving the E60 M5. No, I'm not Doug. This is the Sepang car. And so far so good in terms of the important things. I am baffled as to why cruise control doesn't work. That doesn't require any additional wiring, coding, or programming. I'm thinking it might be a problem with the SCL, which is the module behind the airbag that controls all of the stalks on the wheel, though the rest of them are working okay, minus the steering wheel adjuster. That has not worked since we've had this car. Steering wheel does not adjust up, down, in, or out, which is annoying. So I'll have to ask him if cruise has been not working or if that's a new thing. See if there's any code stored now that I've tried to use it. In the Black 545, when I tried to use that, though that was adaptive cruise, not regular cruise, it would come up on the dash when I tried to engage it, and it would say cruise control malfunction. This is not doing that. It seemingly doesn't know that it's not working. There's no notifications anywhere. I'll have to check the check control, but I don't think there is. Otherwise, it's smooth. It's so quiet compared to my dad's car. The muffler delete sounds good. I mean, the V10, it gets old after a couple of days just with how loud that is. The muffler delete is really loud. To me, it's buzzy and drony at any speeds. He doesn't hear the drone or doesn't acknowledge the drone. So it's kind of a treat to drive a stock one. It's really quiet. It's probably too quiet, but it's refreshing. It fits the character of the car in that it's a quiet luxury car that has crazy power. Most people don't want it for that anymore. They want the V10, they want to experience it and hear it. I'm very excited to drive the 2010 car from Mississippi and see how that sounds with the Eisenman race on it. I've never driven or really heard an E60 with Eisenman. But no check engine light, lots of power, no limp mode. We've done the throttle and idle actuators on this. Cooling system work, belts and pulleys, everything sounds and feels excellent. I figured it would probably need an alignment, though it's really smooth and doesn't seem to pull, or does it maybe walk right a little bit? It's hard to tell on these roads. No, it's pretty good.
I went to Jupiter talk with AJ, and we've decided I'm gonna foster him.
Yeah, it's gonna
Peanut.
take some time for Mike to get his license. So, AJ's gonna stay here with us, okay?